Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to our Tuesday night live. And tonight you are in for a treat. We have another interview with the amazing Miss Heather Noggle from season 5 of The Biggest Transformation. This woman, wait till you hear her story. Wait till you, just seeing pictures of, she said something funny today in one of our groups. She had gotten a new phone and she was like, new phone, new butt. Like, there's nothing about this woman that I recognize from 6 months ago. Like, so without further ado, please help me welcome to the channel, Miss Heather Noggle.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. And I had to let the cat out of the bag about your new butt.
The quote was, new phone, who dis? But really it's new butt, who dis?
So you started the program. You started your weight loss journey at 265.6 pounds. And you lost 77.2 pounds in 6 months, getting down to 188. I know you're still going, but I want to, first off, 77.2 pounds in 6 months. Heather.
Is there a question in there?
That is amazing. No, I think we just go smile at what? So go ahead.
Nobody was more surprised than I was.
Oh, I know, right? So, okay, I want to go back to the 265-pound Heather for a moment. So tell them, because that wasn't that long ago. So First and foremost, when you hear me say that, and you're trying on all these new clothes and you're shopping in normal size sections, does it seem like it was just yesterday that you were the other girl?
Yes and no. I mean, sometimes it's like, I'm not that girl. Sometimes it's like I woke up and I don't remember what that was like. And then other times it does seem like, I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer for that one. Sometimes yes and sometimes no. It was not very long ago. It wasn't even a year.
It was not. And so let's go back to the 200. What did life look like at 265.6 pounds?
I told myself I wasn't going to cry. Okay. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't breathing well. My daughter was working a job where she got off at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and she would come home and I would still be sitting on the couch doing whatever. And she would say, hey, you need to go to bed. And then she would reach out her hand and help me get up off the couch. Like, I didn't need help to get up off the couch, but I did need some motivation to get up off the couch. That was something that I didn't realize was even happening until it stopped happening. There were a lot of things that I had just accepted as what my life was that I didn't even realize. I just didn't even realize. I didn't know what my life was like because I wasn't thinking about it. But some of the things that happened since then made me realize things like I had to pick up my foot and put it on my lap to tie my shoe on the side of the shoe. Like, I couldn't just bend over and tie my shoe. I had an injury hiking in 2020, and I had allowed it to just totally put me on the bench. And so I had stopped hiking, which was one of my favorite things to do. The not sleeping part was really not fun. I was snoring, and that was actually kind of scary. You know, people have died from sleep apnea. I don't know. I did not know that I was that fluffy. I didn't know because I couldn't see it in the mirror. I could see it in photographs, but I couldn't see it in the mirror. So I truly looked in the mirror and saw a mid-sized person, but I was not.
So when you see the photos now of where you're at and where you were, obviously now you look back and you're like, wow, I had no idea. But what goes through your head when you see those?
Gosh, so many things. Number one is I can't believe that I used to think that way. Because what I thought was hey, I'm a grown person in America in 2022, and I can eat and do whatever the hell I want. And that's how I lived my life. And I knew there were consequences, but I didn't care. I was like, consequences are what they are. Oh well, I'm eating a little Debbie oatmeal cream pie today. Maybe more than one, right?
You can't eat just one.
You can't?
I couldn't.
Well, I think I did, but only because I was picking it up on my way to somewhere and eating
Uh,
it in, right?
I got the box. I got the
Oh
box.
no.
I knew one wasn't enough.
Oh no, I had healthy habits. I never bought the box.
Hey, I was 288, so I was heavier than you. I had worse habits.
That's the difference between picking it up on the way and having the box in your house.
Yeah, I would eat half the box. Those little things are freaking good. Those
Well,
little
they're so, and I haven't had one since I started this. Or maybe no, I think I did use one of my 5 pound treats as one, and I was like, it was so sweet. It like puckered the inside of my mouth. I was like, why did I eat this? I don't even like this anymore.
I know. So so what caused you is somebody, because that's, I remember meeting you, and that's totally, you were like a bold, upfront, take it or leave it, this is Heather, like unapologetically you, which is one of the things I love about you. But what is somebody who was like, man, I can eat the little Debbie cream pie, this got consequences and I don't care? What even caused you, and someone who didn't really see their overweightness, right? What caused you to say, okay, something has to change, to even apply to get started in a program like the biggest transformation?
I I have friends in seasons 4 and 3, and it's kind of funny. My friend Jen was in season 4, and we went on a trip together in May of 2021, and she had been doing a different program, and she was doing really well with it. And before that, I had met Wendy in 2018, and in 2018, all 3 of us were fluffy. But in May 2021, Jen looked really good, and then they both live in Texas, and I live in Indiana. Then we all went back to where we were, and I saw them again in November, and Jen wasn't doing so well, and Wendy was. And they had this discussion about one of the things that we do in the biggest transformation, which is weigh ourselves every day. And Jen was totally off of whatever plan she was doing. I was still, hey, I do whatever the heck I want, and consequences can go to Ginty and grow green. And Jen was like, no, the conventional wisdom out there you hear so many times is you should not weigh every day because that's obsessive. And Wendy was explaining to Jen why there's another way to think about it, what the other thought it process is. And I was like, this is so dumb. Why are we talking about this? And it actually, it kind of it triggered me. Like, I don't even like that word. It activated something in me. And I was mad for the rest of the weekend. I acted like a little brat. It was embarrassing. But then in March, they both came up to my house, and now they were both doing really well because Jen had been, I guess, 2 or 3 months on in her program, and Wendy was still going. And people that get on a diet and then they quit. Well, Wendy's not a quitter. Wendy is, this is what we do. This is how we do it. We're going to keep doing it. And she just keeps going. And she looks amazing, and she is amazing. And now Jen's back on plan, and I'm like, well, expletive. Now I'm the only one. And so Jen starts inviting me to the biggest transformation, and I'm like, just no. Did you do the thing? Did you do the thing? Did you fill out the form? I literally filled out the form to not have to tell her no one more time. Like, I just didn't want to say no one more time. But by the time I did my why video, I was on. I was like, if she doesn't choose me, I don't know. There's something wrong with her because I'm awesome and I'm really fluffy, and I have reasons. I have reasons now, and they're still my reasons.
And I remember watching that video of you, and I had never met you. And I remember you were in the car and you like moved your mirror because you're like halfway through the video, your mirror was like in the way and you were like moving it. And you were talking about your daughter was going to be getting married.
Yeah.
And how you wanted to look and how you wanted to feel on that special day.
Yeah.
And that just recently happened.
It did. And I told some people, I feel really guilty looking this good at somebody else's wedding. Because I did. I looked awesome. I looked fantastic. And I felt fantastic. And once the DJ started playing, I didn't come off the floor until my new daughter-in-law's brother came over and said, "Come on, Heather, let's go sit down."
You did look amazing. You had this like tight black, like Jessica Rabbit dress on with
Yes.
sequins. I mean, it
Yes.
hugged every inch of your body. So,
Yep.
like, how was, because, you know, shopping when you're fluffy, because you had a wedding, how far before your daughter's wedding?
It was day 3 of season 5 of The Biggest Transformation. So it was 8 months.
Okay. So you had a wedding 8 months prior,
Yeah.
and you did not wear a form-fitting dress.
Nope. It looked like a tent. I love that dress, but it looked like a tent. And I was wearing shapewear under it. And I was fluffy. I was fluffy.
So going shopping for the dress you wore to your daughter's wedding, the Jessica Rabbit one, the tight black one that showed all the curves. How did that even feel, like being able to shop for the dress?
It was, it wasn't the first outfit that I wasn't even planning to wear a dress like that. I had bought something else and I had a seamstress working on it with me and it just didn't come out right. And I was actually shopping with my mother to help her choose something to wear to the wedding. And I walked past and I was like, oh, shenanigans. I need to try that on. And there were actually 2, and one of them had a square neckline. It just didn't really fit. And then the one that had the neckline that came up to here with all the hugging, the curve hugging perfection. As soon as I put it on, I was like, I don't even know or care how much this dress costs. It's going home with me today.
You looked incredible, and just the energy. Not only did you look good, but you had the energy to dance all freaking night. Did anyone
Mm-hmm.
outdance you?
Hell no.
Hell no.
No. No, the photographer and the videographers both came up to my daughter. All 3 came up to my daughter. Your mom is so much fun. She's so great to capture on film. But there are some really cool photos of us dancing on the dance floor. Me and my daughter together doing Black Eyed Peas. It was fun.
How has your family reacted to this new Heather? Because Heather, like when I go back and even listen to you in the beginning of when you started, and even now, you are not the same woman. So
No,
first off, how have you changed? What has changed?
well, how have I changed? I learned so many things about myself being in season 5 of The Biggest Transformation. And they were things that I didn't believe were true. And I even several months in, I didn't believe they were true. You and Wendy and Jennifer held that belief for me. I found out I could do hard things. I found out that being uncomfortable in my body is not a foregone conclusion because I'm in my 50s. I found out that people are paying attention to me. I just thought I was out here doing my own thing and nobody paid attention to me. And so it didn't matter what I said or did. I learned I can make up my mind that something is important to me and do it and get it and go get it. I knew that a little bit. Like I went on a 3-week road trip in 2017. We went to 18 states. And when I was 20 years old, would have never thought that when my children were born, before they left my home, they would have been to 49 states. That was a goal of mine. And I made it happen. And I had to push to make it happen. So I had done a few things that I was like, I don't care what other people are doing. I'm doing this. But I didn't know that I could do that with my health.
Well, and the rest of the people around you don't, right? So we kind of, like you said, we get fluffy over time. It doesn't just happen overnight. And I don't think we always recognize how far we've gone.
No. Oh, speaking of how far I've gone and how did my family react? At Thanksgiving, I came in and one of my younger brothers said, "This is my half sister." I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "There's half of you. Half of you didn't come in the door." So that was funny.
Yeah, and you are like, have you always been a shopper? Like somebody who likes clothes, like to put on clothes?
No, I hated shopping for clothes when I was fluffy because like I said, I looked in the mirror and didn't see a fluffy person. So, I mean, I knew that I was shopping in plus sizes, but I don't know, somewhere along size 16, I decided it didn't matter what the number on the tag was, it mattered how the clothing felt. I still feel that way about clothes. But I have a business retreat coming up, and I needed some specific looks for this retreat, and I got activated in some. I was feeling some kind of way about shopping for these clothes, but now that I've put them on at home and taken pictures of them and showed a couple of my friends, I was like, number one, I'm good at this, and number two, it was fun. So no, I wasn't, but I am now.
Dude, I saw those photos of you in the outfits that you picked. I mean, Heather, it like you were like she's like posing and so she's like I need to be in London and like you're a so what it like what where when did the switch happen? Because this wasn't the first weight loss thing you've ever tried.
You know what? My husband works for the United States Navy, and they sent him to Washington, D.C. for 5 months this past fall. And my business is, I can do it anywhere that I am as long as I have an internet connection. So I went with him, and I think it happened on that trip. I just, I, there's a picture that I took at a rest stop on the way home in Ohio, and I'm leaning up against this sign that says Ohio, and my teammates were like, "Wow, look at you!" Because I hadn't showed them any full body photos in a while. I hadn't even thought about it, and that was literally the first time that I could see it. I was like, "Okay." And I was literally down over 50 pounds by that point in time. I was down over 60, almost 70 pounds before I could see it. And I had gone from 22 to 20 to 18 to 16. And I think those pants were 14s. And now I'm knocking on the door 10. And that was literally the first time I could see. I couldn't see it before then. Like I told you, I couldn't see the fluffy. I couldn't see that I had changed. So I needed, I don't know. It happened on a road trip. That's my thing. I love road trips. I feel alive on a road trip.
So what is next? You're not done. You're still going. What's your final like where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be 1 year from now?
1 year from now, I want to be hiking the Appalachian Trail. Maybe not in February. But
March. We're preparing. You'll be preparing.
Well, I'm already preparing, but yeah. So I want to be, as far as my weight. I don't really. I I have this funny idea that I weighed 265.6. So if I got down to 132.8, that's literally exactly half my weight. I'm 5'6". I don't know if that's really tenable still. I'm in the 170s now. And people are like, you don't have 40 pounds to lose. And I'm like, you haven't seen me without my clothes on. So I feel like, a size 6. I feel like a size 6. I don't know what weight I'll be when I'm a size 6, but honestly, my whole life from like puberty until I started losing weight, I was what I call hippy dippy, right? Like I had a big butt and big thighs, and I thought I was still going to be shaped like that. And I haven't lost weight the way I expected to. I still am carrying, I've slimmed down to my legs and didn't, I literally, I mean, you might remember me saying, well, I have big legs and even the thin women in my family have big legs and I'm still going to have big legs. Good Lord. I'm not speaking that over my life anymore.
It's amazing when we start hanging out with other people, right? Because we're a product of our environment. And yeah. So we know what we've seen. We know so when you start getting in a new group of people, you start hanging out with different people who talk different, who act different, who walk different, who believe different, who dream different. It starts to affect you. And even I like to call you a tough cookie because you were a tough cookie to crack in the beginning.
In the beginning, in the middle, in the end.
But I mean, it's been so cool to watch you go on this journey and to watch you like come to these revelations and really start to buy in to what was possible for Heather, what was
Mhm.
possible for your life. What have your kids and your husband, how have they reacted to this new mother?
Well, I think Alan was just waiting for me to do this because he had already been slowly working on losing weight, but not really talking about it.
Yeah.
And so he got under 200 the other day for the first time. We've been married for 30 years come June, and I don't think he's been under 200 since before he retired from the Air Force. Well before he retired. So it's been over 15 years for him. And I'm not really comfortable talking about what my daughters are doing at this point. But, well, they're adults and they don't like for me to share about them on the internet. But they both have said, wow, we're really proud of you, Mom. You look amazing.
Which has got to feel good just to hear that from them, right?
It does. It really does, because there's this dynamic about redeeming the time and regretting the example that I was when they were little doesn't benefit anybody, right? Like, I could beat myself up all day over things I did or didn't do when they were children. I can't change that, but I can show a new example now. And I'm just thankful for second chances,
Yeah, 100%. And you can't cry over spilled milk. I mean, you can, but it doesn't do anybody any good.
No.
And so, what a blessing for
Yep.
you to be such an influence and inspiration to your whole family, and not just them, everybody who's ever struggled with their weight before. Because Heather, you're really proof that even from somebody from the sidelines, and I think we've all been there. We've all had that friend losing weight, and we've sat there and we've judged them, and we've thought that's like, I can't do it, or why are you talking about weight, or why are you talking about this, or why are you talking about that? And I think it's so cool because so many times, like, there's going to be people watching this that have been that friend who's thinking, that's judging another friend for losing weight, or doesn't want to hear about it, or doesn't want to talk about it. And I want to close it with this. What would you say to the person watching this who somehow thinks that you're special? And the reason why you've had this weight loss success is because you're just Heather, and that's just how it goes. Somebody who's failed a lot, somebody who doesn't think, somebody who was where you were at. What would you say to that person?
Well, in the 1970s and 80s, it was all about Zig Ziglar when I was a little kid, stinking thinking. And I was the queen of stinking thinking. Whatever ugly things you were saying to yourself in your head, they're not worse than what I was saying to myself. One of the exercises that we did in the biggest transformation was write down the ugly things that people had said about our bodies or our weight. I got to the end of that list and reading it out loud, and 90% of the things that I had written down were things that I had said to myself. There were only 10% had other people said things to me. And the thing that really just pierced my heart was that not one of them had my husband said. So they were things that I was saying to myself. So your stinking thinking is pretty universal. You're not going to be uglier in your head than I was to myself in my head. And someone asked me recently, what's different this time? And I said, I know what to do to lose weight. Like, everybody understands, well, everybody above like fourth grade or whatever understands the ratio of this is how much your body needs to maintain. This is how much your body needs to lose. If you do this, you're going to gain. We understand the mathematical equation. It's not rocket science. So what was different this time was I did it with a coach who had done it before, and with an accountability group of people who were in the same place. That was literally the only thing new about what I did this time. So, do you know how to lose weight? Well, you say you do, but if you're not doing it, do you know how to do it. So I would say to anybody who weighs twice what they should, to do it with a coach and an accountability group. How many years has it been since you started your weight loss journey with this program? 8?
2014. Yeah, 8 years.
That's 9 years now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm smart enough to know how to lose weight, but I was not smart enough to know how to retrain my brain and my emotions and my habits, how I talk to myself, how I talk to other people, how I break it down into steps. I didn't have the key at that point in time. I had knowledge and not the identity. And the identity piece for me was huge.
Yeah.
You're not any different than me. I am special, but I'm not that different than anybody else.
Yeah. And it really just comes down to putting all your failures in the past, leaving them there, and just having the faith to do it, try again, and
Yeah.
believe, what if? What if? And what I love about your story, Heather, is your proof. You're proof to anybody who watches this video that if you can do it, that if I can do it, then they can too. And so thank you so very much for being on tonight. I feel like I could just spend hours. I feel like we just tapped into your story. We just picked little pieces. We could just spend hours talking to this woman, but a true inspiration. You can find her on, you're on Facebook, Heather Noggle. Are you on Instagram?
Yeah. I don't do a whole lot on Instagram, but that's going to change.
And so you can find her on Instagram or on Facebook, and she's still in the place of deciding if she's going to I think if she's going to be a coach and help other women do what she's done. So
I'm going to be a coach.
You heard it here first.
What?
I said they heard it here first.
Well, I'm going to be a coach, but my topic is really going to be intimacy and weight loss, because everybody could use both of those.
Yes, the whole world needs more of both of them.
Yes.
And so anyway, Heather, thank you so much. Go look her up. She's an inspiration. She's also hilarious. You got to see a little bit of her hilarious side, but she is freaking, she'll have you rolling. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. We will be back live next week, same time, same place.